There was an old barn in the corner of an old farm, long since abandoned decades ago. It had fought with Mother Nature against her rains, winds, and snow, but it always enjoyed the animals. Once there were cows and horses and a few pigs. Ah, but the pigs did stink. But it was part of the life that's lived under her roof. Then one day it noticed they were all gone. It sat empty, alone. There were no horses, cows, even the pigs were gone. And at night no lamps were lit. It was dark and cold as the doors were left open for the wind and the rain and the snow to settle in on its empty stalls. Late one night it heard a noise. What is that? It suddenly got scared. Who's in my barn? It thought. In the moonlight, a large shadow appeared with three smaller shadows. It was a mommy raccoon with her babies. The tree they had lived in fell over to the ground. The company, thought the barn, as a new family settled into the hayloft of soft, warm hay. The next day, a bird landed on the open door of the barn. It flew inside and perched on a rafter. My, what a nice place for my family. She began to build a nest and soon had baby birds. What a wonderful sound they made. Soon the other birds came and made nests of their own. The barn was so happy to see life again. One night a big storm came by the barn. The wind howled and the thunder and lightning raged all around. It was scary. All at once, a mommy deer and two fawns slowly crept into the barn. They were wet and scared. They moved slowly into one of the stalls filled with hay, and when the mommy deer thought it was safe, they bedded down and were soon asleep. The only sound besides the storm was a grumpy old owl who had moved into the top loft of the barn. He always wanted to know those that entered the barn by saying, "Who, who?" "Just me and my two babies," said Mommy Deer. In the morning, the sun was shining, and the deer went back into the woods. "Ah," said the barn, "I hope they come back." And sure enough, as the sun set, they entered and went into the same stall to bed for the night. Let's not forget the mommy raccoon. As she rested, the babies explored the inside of the barn, playing tag as they ran across the rafters, hide and seek in the hay, and climbed up high until they found grumpy old owl sleeping the day away. He woke up with a start and said, Who is near my house?" "Go away." They ran so fast they never went up that way again. The barn thought, well, this is good. But it's also mentioned that some of its shingles had come off during the storm. It thought of the farmer man who had fixed its broken door. It wished he would come back. The door was about to fall off. Everything was getting dust on it. It was feeling old and creaking timbers. The snow stayed longer inside. Oh, what will I do if another big storm comes? I am no longer sure I can stand on my own old foundation. What will all the animals do who count on me for protection? Oh, please help me feel strong again. The barn was just about to give up when he heard a strange but somehow familiar sound. It was a tractor with a man on it. It stopped outside the barn, and the man came up to the door and looked inside. "This is perfect," he said. "Oh, sure, it needs some TLC, but it is sound and will be a great barn for me." He fixed the loose timbers and hung shiny new metal doors that slid back and forth. He fixed the roof and brought in fresh hay. Ah, that smelled so good, the barn thought. He put some new kind of lights that came on just by flipping a switch. This is when all the animals came out to see. What would he do, the barn thought? Would he chase them all away? "Oh," he said to all who came out, Mr. Owl said, "Who is this?" The man said, "I am Farmer Tom." Back to him. "I hope you will all stay here in my barn." The raccoons danced across the beams. The birds sang a happy tune. The deer had long since went back to the woods, but once she was a doe, was in the place they had stayed as babies, and gave birth to a little boy deer. Everyone watched as the newest life came to the barn. Even Farmer Tom brought fresh water and some corn to the stall. He said, "I will name you Dear One." And so for many years they all shared the barn. Soon some cows and horses came to the barn, and it was full of life as it had been before. And so the barn went on for many, many more years until Farmer Tom retired the barn and built a new barn of something he called metal. But he always repaired me when something happened. Uh, pause that.
Go.
Everyone watched as the newest life came into the barn. Even Farmer Tom brought some fresh water and some corn to the stall. He said, "I will name you Dear One." And so for many years they all shared the barn. Soon some cows and horses came to the barn. It was full of life, as it had been before, and so the barn went on for many more years until Farmer Tom retired the barn and built a new barn of something he called metal. He always repaired me when something had happened. He also allowed all the creatures who lived in the barn to stay there. One warm summer sunny night, Farmer Tom came into the barn and he was carrying something in his hands. Farmer Tom had set up an old table and placed the object on it. He started to sing a song. All the animals came out to hear him as he sang. "Happy birthday to you, you old barn. Happy birthday to you. You are, as of today, 140 years old. Happy birthday to you." I had no idea I was that old. All the creatures joined Farmer Tom in saying how wonderful life with me has been, and they all wished for many more years. After Farmer Tom left, all the creatures had a slice of the cake, leaving a piece for the barn. I had never tasted a cake before. They placed a piece where only the barn could touch it. I have never been so happy. I would cry if I could. The sun is shining through the loft window. It looked like a big smile against the walls. And so it was for many more years. The old barn still stands today. If you get lucky enough to visit, you will leave with the feeling of how a great... let me start that one over too. If you get lucky enough to visit, you will leave with the feeling of how great a barn had lived and still lives on.
The Barn.
The Barn by Joe Goor.
Narrated by Joe Goor.